Hiya, Seven. I just thought I would come online and do a quick video about the population pyramid because I've had a couple of comments today about people being a little bit stuck. So, what you can see here is the population pyramid for Russia in 2016, and on the left hand side is a copy of the data table that was used to create the same population pyramid. So what population pyramids show us is essentially just the structure of the population. Now, normally on a proper population pyramid, you would have the age ranges down the middle, but it's really hard to create them using Google Sheets. So I couldn't do it for you on this, but if had we been in school, I would have been able to add in the numbers in the middle. Basically, what a population pyramid is are two bar graphs back to back. That's essentially all it is. And your data that you've got along the bottom shows us the percentages in those age groups. So, of the total population, what percent makes up that particular age group? So one of the things that I was talking about in the live lessons was this imbalance that we have between the amount of males versus females, particularly in these older age groups. So from the age of 60 plus, you can see that there is definitely more females than there are males. And that is kind of off the back of the Second World War, because during those times, obviously, they would have been in their 20s and their early 30s, and now they've moved up through the age groups. By 2016, they're in their 70s and 80s, etc. After that, you can see like a little peak in the population, both in males and females, and that is because after the war, when the men returned, those that had survived the war, there was a baby boom, and this kind of happened all over Europe. It happened in our country as well, and people were having lots and lots of children after the war. It then dropped off naturally because the struggles of post-war was quite tricky. And obviously in Russia, they turned to the Soviet Union. And they were under that rule for quite some time, which is a communist rule. That all ended at around about this age group here, the 30 to 34-year-olds. And we have another peak in the population size due to the fact that the end of the Soviet rule meant that fewer people could have larger families. There was less control. And after that, you can see that it gets a little bit sort of thinner at the bottom. It's definitely more similar to the kind of population pyramid that we were talking about the other day in more developed countries. And that's essentially because Russia does become developed. Over that time, since the end of the Soviet Union, people had more freedom. They were able to go into different jobs. Girls, in particular, were able to get access to higher education and pursue careers. And that's the reason why the base is quite thin, meaning that there are fewer children being born. So young people make up quite a small size of the population. That's going to be a problem for Russia in the future, because it does mean that currently Russia's got the same sort of problem as we have with an aging population, meaning that in the future, 40 years' time or so, there are going to be more older people than there are younger people. And that can be quite problematic because it then relies on the younger people to be making sure that they look after the older people, or that they're working hard so that all pension money is going to pay in for elderly care. So it has high pressures, if you like, on health services and on social services.